Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Nine Hole Podcast. This is your host, Ian Miller. Today, I wanted to talk about some things that are going on around the game of baseball. I obviously wanted to talk a little bit about the first night of the MLB Draft. It is upon us. People's lives are changing forever for the better. We got some questions going on about who should have been taken where. Obviously, Travis Bazana was that number one pick last night. That was big time. Appreciate you guys tuning in on Instagram Live. I appreciate you tuning in on No Filter. Whether you're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all that stuff. Appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, like to recap a little bit of the first round of the MLB Draft. Talk about some news going on around the league in the game of baseball, and then obviously leave off with some tidbits on the baseball development process. Obviously, here at the Nine Hole Podcast, I'm aiming at providing insights and empowerment to the next generation of nine-hole hitters, the next generation of athletes that want to maximize their abilities and their capabilities. And this is where we talk about it. This is where we do it. Before jumping in head first, man, I'd love to give a shout out to the Cleveland Student Visionaries of the Year and the sponsor of today's stream, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, doing good work and raising money for the fight against blood cancer. Appreciate you guys. Check out the link. It is right at the top, at the ad space there at the top of No Filter. Check them out. They're doing great work. Again, appreciate everybody for being here, tuning in. So let's talk about the MLB Draft, man. Last night, obviously, the first round came and went. There were some bonus picks, a whole bunch, man. But I just kind of wanted to recap it, talk about some things that stood out to me. Wanted to talk about the alarming rate, high amount of college bats and college players taken in this year's draft. A record was set, obviously, with the amount of college players that were taken this year. And man, I had some questions about what you guys thought in the chat. Leave me something in the chat about who you thought should have been the first pick. Did you agree with Bazana being the first guy taken? But man, just right out the gate, first round's done. The number of college players that were taken last night out of the 30 first round picks was 20. So there were 20 college players taken in the first 30 picks of the MLB Draft. And there was, what is it right here? The first picks, history was made. The first 8 picks were college dudes. So 8 for 8 were college players. 20 out of 30 were college players. That's absurd. It's an insane number. And it is the latest, obviously history made, the latest without a high school pick since 1965 when the MLB Draft first started, man. So right off the bat, what does that say? These guys, $10.5 million for the first pick. Your life's being changed, obviously, but these guys want to see like MLB ready talent, right? So development, progression, maturity, being able to handle the mental side of the game is huge, and that is just, we see that now with the first round talent that has been taken. So 20 out of the 30 picks are college players from last night in the first round. So that's big time. Obviously, I think we've seen it with the Angels in the past where they've taken somebody and then they've progressed them through the minor leagues fairly quickly. They want to make sure that people are major league ready, especially if they are giving them potentially 8 figures in the draft, right? 7 or 8 figures is going to change your life. They want to make sure that they are spending that type of life-changing money on a draft pick that is MLB ready and can make a huge impact sooner rather than later. So the number of players that I saw, obviously, we just talked about the alarming number of college players taken, but the number of players that could play up the middle. So when we talk about premium positions, right, we talk about players playing up the middle, catchers, pitchers, shortstops, center fielders. Obviously, you could talk about second baseman in there. We had dudes like, the second baseman from Tennessee was taken fairly high. Second baseman from West Virginia taken fairly high, J.J. Weatherholt. Those guys are second basemen, right? I think JJ was drafted as a shortstop, but he's got potential anywhere on either side of second baseman. But what really stood out to me were obviously the amount of players that play up the middle that were taken in the first round, right? So we're talking about catchers, shortstops, pitchers, and center fielders. Those are the premium positions, right? So if you guys are striving to be first rounders, you striving to be Major League Baseball players, you need to play a premium position and you need to play it at a high level. So we're talking about up the middle, talking about shortstop, catcher, pitcher, center field, being able to play those positions at a high level, being able to be extremely athletic playing those positions obviously demands the most attention and commands the highest price tag. We are seeing these guys making life-changing money in the first round of the draft, and they are athletes, man. They are developed. They are strong up here. They're obviously fucking elite athletes, but these guys are able to handle multiple positions at a high level, and they're mentally strong and they're capable, right? So the number of up the middle players taken last night, out of the 30 picks in the first round, 22 out of 30 of them are playing up the middle. 22 of 30 of those first round picks are catchers, pitchers, shortstops, or center fielders. That's a lot. That is a lot. You need to be a premium athlete. You need to play a premium position. You need to play it at a premium, at a high level, and you need to do so being mentally strong, man. So the number of college players taken was high. The number of players taken that play a premium position, aka up the middle, is high. Were there any surprises last night? So you guys are joining here on Instagram. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here on No Filter. What did you guys think about the MLB draft last night? Who do you think should have went first? Obviously, like Bazana is. We talk about this dude being able to have an immediate impact with the bat. Obviously, like the power numbers are absurd, but the walk to strikeout numbers are really what pops off the page, man. So could potentially move to center field as well with the speed that he possesses. So when we talk about playing at a high level, being an athlete, being able to do multiple things at once, this guy could leave the yard. He can get on base at a high clip. He can walk more than he strikes out, and he could also steal a couple bags in the process, man. Make sure that when you are developing, you are a well rounded player and you're not just handcuffed into being able to do one thing or play one position. I think last night that is a clear takeaway. I love to say that. I love to see it. Were there any surprises? Did you guys feel that Jack Caglianone should have went higher than what he did at number 6? Um, I don't think he should have went higher than what he did. Obviously, like he is an absurd athlete. He was drafted with the left-handed pitcher first base price tag on him and position label on him. Obviously, that is extremely sexy. At the plate, he's got an insanely high chase rate. Right, the swing and miss numbers just are astronomical. What if he doesn't progress? What if he doesn't pan out on the mound? Obviously, he's a fucking stud lefty pitcher, man. But what's he primarily going to do? Right. So there are some questions around there. Could you imagine a lineup with Bobby Witt Jr. and Jack Caglianone in the same lineup? It would be absurd. It would be powerful, right? That's obviously what these guys are hoping for. I don't think that Jack Caglianone can progress through the minor leagues as quickly as some of these other maybe top 20, top 30 picks. We'll see. Obviously, just his tools, his stuff jump out off the page. Obviously, JJ Weatherholt was a huge surprise to me, falling to number 7. This dude was locked in to be the number 1 pick all year, and obviously, sliding down to number 7, it's not going to make or break him. But we were hearing about this guy being the number 1 pick all year. I was a little surprised when he fell to number 7. Obviously, those injuries that he's been battling all year played a huge part of it. Can he stick it short? I don't think so. I don't think he sticks it short. Are you drafting a second baseman with the number 1 overall pick, the number 7 overall pick in Weatherholt? You're drafting a second baseman with the top 10 pick from Tennessee. Man, the idea would be that I think that these guys would maybe move around the diamond. I think that if you're taking somebody with the top 10 picks, he's not going to be a second baseman. That you're either going to squeeze the absolute life and the juice out of him that you can get in shortstop, or you're going to eventually move him to center field. That's how I see Weatherholt. That's how I see Bazana. If they need to move some stuff around, obviously. The Mariners, number 15 pick. I don't want to mess this guy's name up. Jurangelo. Can't even say that last name, man, but that is the switch pitcher out of Mississippi State. We talked about being an athlete. We talked about playing a premium position at a high level and potentially being athletic enough and capable enough to move around the diamond. It is not going to hurt you guys. If you are listening playing multiple positions at a high level is not going to hurt you. It is only going to add to your draft stock, especially if you are locked in up here. So the Mariners got their number 15. They locked in the Mississippi State right-handed dominant, but also can switch to left-handed. He is an absolute stud. Predominantly a right-handed pitcher. He's a stud. We'll see what happens, man. That obviously jumped out the page to me, man. He's been accruing a whole lot of attention. Like I said, I do not want to butcher his last name, but I'll try it. Here we go. Jurangelo Cincheni. That's not even close. Leon Landry, who makes the intro music and the outro music here at the Nine Hole Podcast, is here. Leon, I appreciate you being here, brother. A utility player, yeah, dude. Being able to handle multiple positions across the diamond is insanely sexy, bro. It adds to the price tag. Imagine being, okay, so let's talk about this. You're a 300 player. You're a 300 hitter, and you can only DH, right? If you're a Division 1 DH, and you can bang, you can hit 300, but you are limited in where you are able to contribute on defense, as opposed to being a 290 hitter and playing 3 to 4 positions at a high level, being a leader, being mentally fit. Man, I just think that being well versed at multiple positions adds an insanely premium price tag to you. Utility player tag on you might not seem as sexy, dude, but being well versed, well rounded, being able to play those high level positions, premium positions up the middle, and be able to play a corner outfield spot, dude. Center field's hard. You know what's not hard? Being a shortstop or a second baseman or an insane athlete and then moving to a corner outfield spot in an emergency. That shit's not hard. Being able to play it at a high level, dude, that just adds to the stock, man. Jack Caglianone, we're talking about him and Kurtz from Wake Forest potentially being, labeled as the next Rizzo. Well, dude, you know what? If Jack is struggling a little bit and he's not going to be breaking in as a first baseman, can you plug him in out there in left field? You probably could. Could you plug him in on the diamond? Could you plug him in on the mound? I mean, yeah, you probably could, dude. Playing multiple positions at a high level, sexy. But what do we got here? Soa 10. Thoughts on Nick Kurtz going forth, dude? So I love it. I love it. Obviously, like Wake Forest is a fucking powerhouse, dude. We've seen it already. I love it. He missed some time, dude. I want to say Kurtz had like a 3-something, like a low 3, like just above a 300 batting average. He had some home runs. I think he missed some time. Dude, that is a question mark pick. Yeah, it's a big pick. You're making a big bet on a big time athlete. Is he going to be hindered a little bit with that development because of the time missed? I think yeah, dude. I think yeah. What is he, a top 10 pick, top 15 pick? Of course, bro. But taking him number 4 in front of Caglianone, I mean, that's a question mark right there, bro. I agree. Huge fan. I love that, man. I appreciate the question. You got any other questions, man? Hit me with them. I'll address all of it. Yeah, there were some questions, man. Obviously, like I said, JJ Weather falling to number 7 was probably one of the biggest things that jumped off the page. This dude was supposed to be the number 1 unanimous pick all year, bro. Injuries play a big part. You got to make sure you're on the field. You got to make sure you're healthy. You got to make sure that you're playing your position, your defensive position at a high level so you can command a premium. What I saw, we've been talking about it. It's the theme, dude. From the last night, from the first round, the number of players that can play multiple positions, dude, 10 out of 30, right? So we're talking about dudes that the third baseman from Georgia that was drafted. I think what do you go, number 3 or number 4? He might not be a third baseman, dude. He might not be a third baseman, dude. Right? Is he? I know he's compared to Chris Bryant. Colorado loved that dude. Is he going to be a left fielder moving forward? Probably. We'll see. Focus on banging, young man. We'll stick you in the outfield. Being able to play a premium position and being able to fill in at a corner, dude, is just so sexy to these guys. We're talking about development. We're talking about maximizing your career. We're talking about making it to the big leagues as high and as far as you can go. Play multiple positions. Be well-versed. You don't have to be a utility player, right? Where it's like, okay, he's okay at shortstop. He's okay at third. He's serviceable at first. He's okay at left field. Be fucking dominant at one of these positions and be well versed at a whole bunch of others. Maybe if you're a 250, 260 hitter, but you can play a premium position and fill in elsewhere and be a potential gold glove or a above average outfielder at one of these corner positions, corner infield positions, dude, that's hot, right? Whether you're a college player, everybody's transferring nowadays, bro. The transfer portal, the baseball free agency market in college baseball is out of control. If you're serviceable in multiple positions, bro, sky's the limit, dude. Sky's the limit. We are looking at these guys. 10 out of the 30 first round draft picks can play multiple positions, and we're talking about Weatherholt, right? He got drafted as a shortstop. That guy's a second baseman. That guy's potentially a corner outfielder, center field. Right? He's fast as shit, dude. He's fast as shit. The drafted Condon as an outfielder. They said that's what I'm talking about. Thoughts on the Braves pick, Caminiti? I'll be honest with you. I don't know a whole lot on Caminiti. I should be a little bit more versed there. Let me follow back up with you. I will do some research on that. But dude, these guys are talking about Bazana, the number one pick, mind you. They're talking about the number one pick moving to center field down the road, right? We're going to draft a second baseman as the number one pick. That guy has a potential to be a gold glover in center field. That guy can walk more than he strikes out throughout his 3 years. That guy can steal 30 plus bags, potentially hit 30 plus home runs. Bazana had 180 walks to 146 strikeouts in 3 collegiate seasons, including 76 walks this past year with just 37 strikeouts in 60 games, bro. That's absurd. So you were able to play multiple positions potentially, right? And then you're able to have great plate discipline and hit the ball out of the yard, man. That's worth $10.5 million at least right off the bat. And they are talking about Travis Bazana giving presentations. I don't know if you guys were watching the draft last night, but on ESPN, they said that this dude was giving presentations to his teammates about data and analytics and offering advice on when they should be the most aggressive, when they should be swinging. And we're in college, bro. 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. This guy's giving presentations on analytics and data to his teammates on making them the best versions of themselves. So we're talking about playing multiple positions potentially at a high level, being able to do multiple things at a high level, right? We're talking about hitting the ball out of the yard, playing premium defense, having a good eye, get on base. But obviously, this guy is locked in here. These guys, these top 10 guys are locked in here. We saw with the third baseman from Georgia. I don't want to say Condon or Condon. Man, I don't want to mess these guys' names up because I'm weird like that. But these guys are obviously leaders. They are locked in here. If you're hitting over 400 in the SEC or the Pac-12 or in one of the best conferences in baseball, you have to be absolutely locked in here, man. We're going to talk about some stuff on the baseball development process. We're going to talk about some stuff staying locked in here and stuff that is like instrumental to your career and progression, man, here at the end. But like I said, I just wanted to run through a little bit of the first round, some stuff that stood out to me. Obviously, the switch pitcher being taken, number 15 by the Mariners, is lights out, bro. We're going to see what he's capable of. Caminiti, I need to do some research on him with the Braves, bro. I will have an answer for you. We'll talk about that moving forward, man. We got some news around the league. Let me just take a little sip of water. We got some news coming out around the league. Obviously, you guys have seen it. Dude, Dustin May tore his esophagus. Dustin May tore his esophagus. So the Dodgers are hurting right now, with their pitching staff and their bullpen, man. We'll kind of go over what they got going on. Wander Franco, you guys saw the news last week. He got charged, man. He got charged messing around with minors. Can't be doing that, bro. A 23-year-old messing around with a 14-year-old girl. Just, nah, dude. And then we got some all-star home run derby type stuff going on. Love to get your feedback. Who do you guys think is going to win the home run derby? Are you guys even watching the home run derby? I'll tell you what, I am not going to be watching the home run derby. Talk to you a little bit about that. Let's see here. Neon Leon, D. Gordon and Billy Hamilton transitioned from shortstop to the outfield. Bryce Harper transitioned from outfield to first base. You're speaking facts. Dude, Leon, I absolutely love that, bro. So, like, You just need to get somebody to take a chance on you. You just need to get in the door. If you are well versed, versatile, you're athletic enough to be able to spread around the diamond, dude, it's just going to add to your value, man. Obviously, not everybody wants to have the utility player role labeled on them. That might not be sexy as being like an everyday shortstop or an everyday center fielder, but being well versed at multiple positions, man, that is not going to be a detriment. I promise you. I love that, Leon. Thank you for being here. I think those are great references off the bat. So let's talk about Billy Hamilton. Let's talk about D. Gordon. So these guys are speed guys, glove first, right? You can't steal first base. You can't steal first base. So these guys are going to do their damage on the base paths. They're going to get on the base and run. You're going to get on first base and potentially score on a single. Dude, I get it. These guys have transitioned right from infield to the outfield, back to the infield. Like we saw D. Gordon doing it in center field with the Mariners, winning gold gloves at second base, dude. Being well versed and athletic enough to cover multiple positions is going to keep you around for a long time. Billy Hamilton may still be playing baseball, dude. I think he might. I'm not sure if he's 35 or 40 years old yet, but I know that guy can still run. I know that guy can still go catch a fly ball, right? And that's going to prolong your career. We're going to talk about some other things that may prolong your career from a baseball development standpoint moving forward here at the end. But let's talk right off the bat, dude. The Dodgers. Dustin May tore his throat. He's got a ripped esophagus. He already had surgery, bro. So Dustin May, 26-year-old, has not pitched this season following surgery last year to repair a torn flexor tendon in his right arm. He was set up to go on a rehab assignment in the coming weeks, but the surgery to repair his esophagus, which is absolutely crazy, will keep him from physical activity for the next 2 months, according to resources. According to sources, dude. The injury sources said first appeared during a dinner and required intervention after May sought attention the next day for pain in his throat and stomach. Medical personnel diagnosed the tear in May's throat, sources said, and acted quickly. He's expected to make a full recovery, but he's out for the year. So that's bad news, bro. That's bad luck. That shit, obviously, you can't control. This guy's a pitcher. He's having flexor strains. TJ, dude, we got elbow injuries blowing out, and this guy's got a throat injury, right? This guy's got an esophagus injury. It's unfortunate. This guy got fucking hurt at the dinner table. That sucks, right? Let's dive into a little bit more about what the Dodgers have going on. I'm going to reference Josh Schiffman, JS9 Innings Post. He just put something out earlier. Dodgers pitchers on the 15-day DL. Tyler Glasnow and Walker Buehler, who are obvious fucking studs. They're on the 15-day, IL. We'll see what happens with them. Dodgers pitchers on the 60-day, dude. So we got Clayton Kershaw, Yamamoto. We got Tony Gonsolin. Dustin May is now on the 60-day with a throat. And we got Emmett Sheehan. The list does not include Shohei Ohtani, who is obviously missing time rehabbing that elbow. He's DH, and he's obviously having a fantastic year from TJ. And Bobby Miller, who was sent down to the minors. So the Dodgers, who are sitting atop the NL West at 56 and 41, are obviously holding up okay. But we have a bunch of question marks surrounding the pitching staff moving forward. What's going to be happening? Are these guys going to be able to maintain this style and level of play all year? Dude, I don't know. But it's still pretty early, man. It's still pretty early. We haven't crossed that 100-game threshold. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the second place team, I believe, is the Diamondbacks. They're pretty damn far behind, but I feel like moving forward, this is going to hinder their chances in the playoffs, in the World Series. Obviously, everybody's pegging these guys to be in the World Series. Do they win it? I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I don't think you can have this many question marks around the pitching staff and be that successful in the postseason. Obviously, like bringing in Yamamoto was huge. Tyler Glasnow, they fucking made it rain getting that guy over here. These guys can't perform. We'll see what's going on. Are they still set up to win it all? Do you guys think that these guys are going to be the champions here at the end of the season? Personally, I don't. Would love to hear your guys' take. Would love to see what you think. Moving on around the league, dude, we got some. I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know how to say this correctly, but Wander Franco got charged. right? So we had questions surrounding, man, what was going to be happening. But here it is. So on Wednesday, man, he got placed on the restricted list. He is now charged. So Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco was placed on the restricted list on Wednesday, a day after prosecutors in the Dominican Republic levied 3 charges against him for an alleged sexual relationship with a then 14-year-old girl. So Franco, who is 23 years old, had previously been on administrative leave as part of a deal between Major League Baseball and the Players Association. The agreement included a provision that, he was on administrative leave. He's getting paid. But now, since he's been charged, dude, he's no longer getting paid. He's no longer getting service time, bro. He made like half of his salary, right? All this shit was going on. This guy still made half of his salary. He is now charged. He had a relationship with a minor. You're 23 years old. You can't be fucking around with a 14-year-old brother. You know that. Come on now. Do we think his career is over? Yes. Yes, I think his career is over. I obviously, you can't be coming back into the league, right? We've had questions surrounding Trevor Bauer. Why is Trevor Bauer not in an MLB uniform? He's obviously blowing the competition away down in Mexico. But the brand that he is associated with, his reputation, even though he wasn't necessarily came out as guilty, that did not come out that the shit that he was being accused of was true. It's still happened, man. It's still branded him. It's still negatively impacted him, man. I think, Wander Franco. We obviously have seen him play his last games in Major League Baseball. I think his career is over. Now let's take a little step to the side, bro. So Wander Franco, with having a sexual relationship with a minor. We've seen in the video game space the stuff that's going on around Dr. Disrespect. This is obviously prevalent in the baseball space because everybody under the sun in baseball watches video games be played on Twitch, on YouTube, or they play video games, right? You don't see it necessarily behind the scenes, but this impacts. Dude, when I was at Wrigley Field, when I'm playing for the Cubs, I was up with the Cubs for a week, dude. I was with the Cubs for parts of 2 years, playing, grinding my beanbag off in the minor leagues, and I was only up with the Cubs for a week in the big leagues. I appeared in one game, and in that week, dude, these guys are playing, Doctor Disrespect. Or they're broadcasting Twitch streamers live pregame beforehand. Um, dude, it's crazy. You can't be having relationships with a minor, bro, regardless of if it's talking or if it's physical, man. Come on. Come on, come on. We saw what happened with Sketch. Everybody watches Sketch as well, dude. Not that what Sketch did anything bad, but we're going to talk about reputation. We're going to talk about brand. That's obviously been a theme here on the Nine Hole podcast. Being able to maximize your reputation and brand and the style of baseball that you play on and off the field, it all carries weight. So make sure you are cognizant of that. Brick wall baseball, I think he should have to pay back the money collected since being put on leave. Dude, yeah. I think you're right, bro. How is this guy making he made half of his salary this year as the investigation was going on. And dude, there was stuff that's like pointed to it happening, right? And he's still he's accruing service time and he's accruing payment, dude. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'd love for him to pay it back. Who knows what he's got left after he pays that back, right? It's crazy to think about it. It's wild that we have to have these conversations, these discussions, dude. Don't mess around with underage people. Don't do it. It's not worth it, guys. It's fucking not worth it, man. Lastly, little news around the league, dude. We got the All-Star game. I get Brickwall. Appreciate you being here, bro. Always, dude. You're awesome. Who do we think is going to win the home run derby? I don't care about the All-Star game. I do not care about the home run derby. I will not be watching it. But if I had to make a guess, if I had to make a bet, I am going to have a hot take here. I got Bobby Witt Jr. winning the home run derby, bro. I got Bobby Witt Jr. winning the home run derby. We'll be circling back here on Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. I'll have Nick Dini back on here live, dude. We'll talk about it. We'll see if I'm right. Let's see if Bobby Witt Jr. can't sneak something out. I don't. There's nothing. I got nothing wrong or against Pete Alonso, but I'm not tuning in necessarily to watch him. Potentially win the home run derby. It just isn't going to do it for me. I'm not interested in watching the home run derby if Aaron Judge isn't there, Vladdy Jr.'s not in there, Bryce Harper's not in there, and Shohei Ohtani is not in there. Why would I go out of my way to watch the home run derby if those guys aren't there? I can't do it, man. Adolis Garcia, I love it. I love it. I love it. We'll see, bro. We'll see, dude. I feel like the format plays into the younger guys a bit. Okay, so BEJ or Henderson, maybe Gunnar Henderson. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Gunnar Henderson's another one. Adolis Garcia is another one. Very solid. I love that brick wall. Um, Bobby Witt. Okay, Bobby Witt or Henderson, maybe. I didn't really think about that format, dude. Yeah, it's going to be just high velocity, just high impact, taking a fucking bunch of swings, swing after swing after swing after swing. It's going to be a young guy's game. I don't necessarily need to see Pete Alonso win it again. I know that dude can hit 40 plus home runs. If the big guys like Harper, Vlad, Judge, dude, Otani aren't going to be there, I'd love to see Bobby Witt Jr. or Gunnar Henderson maybe. We'll see what's going on. I felt like Adolis Garcia is another good one too. Authentic Taco, I love that. I appreciate that. Dude, I felt like Brent Rooker was snubbed in the All-Star game. Like I said, I'm not losing any sleep over it, bro. But Brent Rooker, as of right now, has a 291 average, 21 home runs, and a 942 OPS. This guy is fucking banging. Why isn't this guy at least in the home run derby, bro? I know that we're coming out, we're reading some stuff about Pete Alonso, and he wanted to make sure he was in the All-Star game in order to be in the home run derby, and they want to maximize viewership. Let's bring Pete Alonso in, dude. I get it, but Brent Rooker could put on a show. Christian Walker could put on a show. So we talk about Brent Rooker getting snubbed with a 291 batting average, 21 home runs, and a 942 OPS. Christian Walker is walking around with a 264 average, 22 home runs, and an 838 OPS, man. These guys got snubbed. It would have been cool to see these guys make their All-Star game debuts, man. Home run derbies, hit 30 plus. I mean, who knows, dude? I'm not going to be tuning in, unfortunately. It's good. We'll see what happens, bro. There aren't enough big names for me to take time out of my day to go tune into the home run derby. We'll see what happens, man. Hope maybe there's some drama going on. Maybe there's some star-studded stuff going on. We'll see. I don't think there is. I don't think there's going to be. So, dude, we talked about the first round of the MLB draft, being well versed, making sure that you can play multiple positions at a high level, so that when it's your turn to have your name called in the draft, you maximize the return, you maximize the price that you're commanding, and you maximize your opportunities, man. When you're coming up in the baseball development process, you do not want to just be handcuffed to one spot. Like, oh dude, I'm just a third baseman, or oh dude, I'm just a second baseman, or I'm just a left fielder. Play shortstop, play center field, play catcher, but also be well versed and be able to be moved around the diamond, man. We see these guys. 20 out of the 30 of them are college players. 8 out of 8 of the first ones are college players. Up the middle players are 22 out of 30 taken. They play a premium position, and 10 out of 30 of them can play multiple positions. These guys are doing it. These guys are doing it. Make sure you're doing it, man. Make sure you aren't just handcuffed and playing one position, dude, because you want to play in the SEC one day, you want to play in the ACC or Pac-12, dude. Like, play multiple positions. Be strong up here. So let's talk about being strong up here. Let's talk about the baseball development process. Dude, I'll give you two things right off the bat, man. We're already kind of like over time. I love this shit. I'm going to keep doing it. I hope you guys are having fun. But let's talk about two things here. Also, if you're not playing a position, you should mentally still understand them and their responsibilities. Brick wall. I absolutely love that. So I would have loved to have been a coach after I was done playing, right? So I was a walk-on that walked on to Division I Wagner College and ended up grinding my beanbag off to make it to the big leagues, right? But I couldn't tell you what a first and third defense looks like, bro. I couldn't tell you what a bunt defense looks like. Who's covering the left side of the infield on a bunt, a drag bunt at third base, right? Who's covering the bag? I would have loved to have potentially coached after I was done playing, but I know nothing like that. I was only ever well versed at the 3 outfield spots, and I could play all of them at a significantly high level. I would have loved to have been a Whit Merrifield type, and I could have been serviceable at second base, right? Could have thrown me at third base, right? In an emergency, could I have picked it at short? Hell no. But it would have been dope if I could have. Maybe I'd still be playing, bro. You know what I mean? If you're not playing a position, still understand them. their responsibilities, bro. It's going to make you more serviceable. Brickwell, I absolutely love that, bro. 100% right. Know the game, dude. Have an idea around the game. I wanted to talk about another concept that is like paramount to maximizing your career. So the 9 hole newsletter went out yesterday, 2 days ago, actually, excuse me, I should say, and the title of it was "You're Not the Exception." So we talk about MJ, Michael Jordan, fucking Kobe Bryant. We talk about Paul Skeens, who's going to be the starter in the All Star game. The number one pick last year is now the ace in the big leagues this year. We hear the work ethic all the time. These guys are working their ass off. These guys are experts at what they do. They put in the 10,000 hours. So the 10,000 hour rule is like if you want to become an expert at anything, at a certain craft, at a certain mechanic, at a certain game, at a certain position, you need to put in 10,000 hours worth of grinding in order to become that well versed that you could be deemed an expert. So these guys up in the big leagues are experts, man. Over the course of their career, they've put in the adequate time, the adequate effort. We talk about volume times time equals skill. In order for them to be experts and have expert level skill at shortstop, second base, center field, they need to put in the time, they need to put in the volume, and they need to develop that skill. These guys are doing it. These guys are doing it. Why are you daydreaming about being in the big leagues one day? Why are you daydreaming about being in the NBA one day, in the NFL one day, and you aren't putting in the work behind the scenes, bro? These guys are the best in the world. These guys are the best in the world, dude. I have it. I have it written down over here. CEOs, they read 60 books a year. That's 5 a month. These guys need to stay on top of their shit to get a leg up on their competition. They're putting in their 10,000 hours consistently, continually, over and over, man. If you guys want to get to the top, if you guys want to be in the big leagues, if you guys want to be in the SEC, doesn't matter if you're 5'6" or 6'3", bro. If you become an expert at your craft, you have a chance. Give yourself a chance. Leon, speed kills, bro. Can't teach baseball instincts. I love that. Leon, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. There's a dude that played and coached at LSU. He was my teammate in Double A. I couldn't agree more, bro. Speed kills. You can't teach the baseball instincts. How do you develop baseball instincts, though? Right? It's about being present. It's about being locked in, dude. The more you're around the game, the more that you're putting in your 10,000 hours, the more your instincts can develop. Right? The more positions you play, the more well versed you are around the diamond, the more your instincts can develop. I don't know shit about the infield, bro. I don't know shit about the infield. I caught when I was in like ninth grade. That's the most infield that I know. You know what I mean? And I don't know anything other than that. If I wanted to extend my playing career and be a Whit Merrifield type, I couldn't do it. Right? I have no instincts in the infield. I have no idea how to pick a ground ball at third base. Couldn't do it. I'd be olaying the shit out of everything, bro. Get your instincts up, right? Baseball IQ up, understand the responsibilities, dude. It's just makes you more serviceable. Alexander D'Ambrosio, couldn't agree more. I love you being here, brother. Thank you for the comments. Um, yeah, keep them coming, man. I love that. So we talked about the 10,000 hour rule. I love that because, dude, if you want to make it to the top, you need to put in the same type of work, if not more than those dudes that are at the top. So, yeah, reputation. Practice doesn't make perfect. Repetition. Absolutely, bro. So we talk about these dudes that are at the top. We talk about Paul Skeens. We talk about Kobe Bryant in the NBA, right? Obviously, these guys are workhorses. They work hard as shit. They're strong here. They're locked in, right? But they're also big time athletes. They're big. They're strong. They're athletic. They're 6'5" plus. They throw 100 miles an hour. They can squat 600 pounds, bro. I get it. If you want to be as good as those guys and have the type of impact that they do at the biggest stage, you need to literally work as hard as them. You have to. You are not the exception. You have to put in the 10,000 hours. If you aren't as physically gifted as those guys, which we are all not, then we have to work even harder than those guys. So if you're 6'5" and you throw 102 like Paul Skeens, you need to work as hard as that guy in order to get to where he went. You want to be like that dude, you need to work as fucking hard as that guy. If you aren't as physically talented, as much of an athlete, right? As physically gifted as that guy is, you need to work even harder, bro. I think that's something that we as baseball players don't wrap our heads around enough, and I don't think it's necessarily like preached from the youngest levels going up, man. You aren't the exception, bro. You need to work as hard as these guys, and if you aren't as talented, then you need to outwork them, right? So we talk about Paul Skeens, bro. You see this guy putting on the little weighted thing with water in it. He's doing these things. He's throwing footballs, dude. He's doing the plyo balls. He's doing the strength, dude. This is all days that he pitches. What do you think he's doing when he's not pitching, bro? Right? This guy was supposed to be in the military, right? Transferred out. Crazy story. You know he's routine oriented. You know he's disciplined. You want to be like that guy? You need to be just as disciplined, if not more, if you aren't as gifted as that guy. D'Ambrosio had an older teammate tell me it's the willingness to do the same thing over and over again. I love that. You're piggybacking off of Leon Landry right there, right? Repetition. Practice does not make perfect. It's about repetition, 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 repetition. I love it, right? That's the 10,000 hours, boys. That's what we're talking about. That's the repetition, man. That's how you become an expert. Brick wall. The work you do every day is the investment into your future, bro. I absolutely love that, man. You might not see the hard work that you're putting in right now, make leaps and bounds of a difference, right? But if the work that you are putting in isn't working for you, that means it's working on you, right? So if you're grinding your beanbag off in the cage 6 hours a day and you're not necessarily hitting 300, that work is working on you. If it's not working for you, it is working on you. All work works, man. All work works. Put in the work. Everybody knows what they need to do. Everybody knows what they're capable of, right? It's just about making sure the proper systems and processes are in place so that you can maximize. Make sure that you are investing in your future with that work you do every day. I love that brick wall. I love that Alexander D'Ambrosio. I love it, bro. Leon, that's awesome, bro. I love all that shit. Let's keep it going. Um, Last two things, man. Maybe I just hit on one of these before I get out of here. We're running into the 45-minute mark, bro. That's longer than I wanted it to be anyway, but be the same dude. Be the same dude. So I've had teammates obviously throughout, almost a decade in pro ball. We all know the teammates. We all know the good teammates. We all know the bad teammates, man. We all know the teammates that get really high when shit's going well, and we know the teammates that get really low when shit is bad. That's a cancer to be around, bro. If you're the type of teammate that is really high when stuff's going well and is really low when shit's not going your way, bro, that's a terrible teammate in my opinion. Right? Those are the type of dudes that we don't want to be around. So everybody knows when you're doing well, everybody knows when you're doing shitty, like your Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Is anybody? I'm sure people have seen that. Down in the dumps, just bringing people down with you. Don't be like that. I always kind of like marveled at those teammates that were able to be the same dudes day in and day out, be even keel, bro. Think about how many ups and downs are in the baseball development process. Think about the ups and downs that are in the course of a full baseball season, dude. If your emotions and like your mentality are just like this over and over and over again through the peaks and the troughs or the peaks and valleys of the year, dude, you're going to be miserable to fucking be around. And you're going to be a wild card every day. Stay even keel, man. You need to have a process. You need to have a system in place that can keep you right here when stuff's going well, that can keep you right here when stuff's not going your way. For me, it was journaling, right? I kept a journal. I work with players behind the scenes and we talk about keeping a journal, man. What got me out last week? Because what got me out this week should not be able to get me out again this week if I'm implementing and utilizing practice the right way, right? So how it works in professional baseball or college baseball is, well, I should say more professional baseball because you're playing literally every day, dude. But like my early work today for the game tonight at 7 is attacking the shit that I didn't do well yesterday, right? Like I'm continuously trying to chip away and increase and be well versed at the stuff that I was struggling with yesterday, man. You need to make sure that you're utilizing that stuff. You need to make sure that you're utilizing the 10,000 hour rule, man. Meditation and mindfulness was another big one for me. Leon Landry, how did you continue staying positive in a game of failure, bro? So that is the baseball development stuff that we're talking about. For me, I didn't find out about the mindfulness and the meditative practices towards the back end of my career. And I always struggled with this until the last couple of years, bro. So meditation was big. Like I said, the journaling was big. Trying to separate my results from my worth was big. It took me a long time, but like if I went 3 for 4 or I went 0 for 4, when I left the field, I still had the same worth, man. And that's way easier said than done because we're always playing a game that we're gonna fail, dude. I get it, but like I think for me, it was being able to snap into, hey, I'm still Ian when I leave the ballpark. Um, I had a way of a little like meditative practice, a little mindfulness practice that when I left the locker room, dude, it was no baseball for the rest of the night. I just left that there. I'd go home to my wife, my dog, and just chill out, bro. I think that's really what helped me. I think that's pretty healthy. Be the same dude, even keel, man. Not too high, not too low. And then there's last thing I'll leave you guys with, and then I got to get out of here, man. I appreciate everybody being here again, right? Brick Wall, man, D'Ambrosio, Neon, thank you boys for being here. Different types of leaders, man. There's there's different leadership structure. There's different team structure with every team that you play on. But I think there's different types of leaders, man. So obviously, like there's the best player in your team, the most skilled, the most athletic. Like that is a dude that is the skilled leader. You look at that guy, you're like, okay, that's the table setter. That guy's probably going to get a couple knocks today. That's the best player on the team. That's a leader, right? The way that he plays his energy on the field, that carries over into everybody else. Everybody else wants to be that same type of player. Then the second type of leader is the team captain, man. The vocal leader, the dude in charge. This can be multiple players. It might not necessarily be the best player on the team, but it's the guy that commands the respect in the locker room. It's the guy that can get everybody huddled up and rallied around him on the same team. And then lastly, dude, in my experience, leaders, the third type of leader on a baseball team are the dudes that want to win, regardless of if you're a bench player or regardless of if you're an everyday starter, the number one pitcher, or you're just a bullpen piece that rarely gets in there. Dude, I think that if you want to win, you will truly separate yourself and kind of stand out as a leader. And I played with a bunch of players that weren't necessarily the best players possible, didn't play all the time and have the biggest impact, but they were the biggest leaders in my mind because everybody wanted to be like them, bro. They were able to rally people around them just by the way that they held up their teammates. Um, I love it, man. So like when you're going about your baseball development process, when you're going about your season, everybody's kind of in summer ball right now. Think about what type of leader you are. Think about what type of player you are. Are you able to play multiple positions? Are you able to be mentally strong, mentally fit? Do you have a process in place? Do you have a routine in place? Do you are you a participant of the 10,000 hour rule, dude? Do you put the necessary time in when you're supposed to be doing it? These guys are doing it at the top level, right? You are not the exception, man. Make sure you're getting your work in. Leon, love you too, man. Appreciate you guys being here. Fellas, that's all I got. Brick Wall, thank you for being here. D'Ambrosio, thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of the Nine Hole Podcast. Bro, I'm going to keep doing this, man. I'm going to keep doing this multiple times a week. I'm going to be live on multiple platforms. And I'll catch you guys again moving forward. All right. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I will catch you guys back here on Wednesday with Nick Dini. We'll talk about the youth and amateur space. Any questions, send them my way. Anything you guys want to hear, talk about, let me know in the chat. Again, thank you, boys. Take care, everybody.